Hey everybody, Brian here, back with the games I beat in June of 20,000. Excuse me, June of 2019. I did very good this month. I beat quite a few games. We'll start off with the first one I beat, and that's Maximo Ghost Glory on the PlayStation 2. Very fun game. Like I said before, I think I mentioned I never played a lot of PlayStation 2 games. This is one I actually finished, and I enjoyed every second of it. It's very challenging. The levels are good to look at. The music's good. It plays great. It's a takeoff of Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It has a lot of charm to it. Um, you have different special moves that you can use, and they, depending on which ones you keep, you have like a lock basket. You can have up to 6 or 7, but you can only keep 3. You got to pick out which ones you want to keep, because when you die, you lose ones that aren't in those lock spaces. There's basically 5 main worlds, I think, with about 4 levels each, 4 or 3 levels, or 4 or 5 worlds, with 3 or 4 or 5, 4 levels or stages. And then when you beat there's a hub of those worlds, and you go there. The first one's like a graveyard, the second one's like a swamp. And when you beat those levels in the hub, you fight a boss. And then when you beat the boss, you go to the next hub world. The story, Maximo is like a hero that comes back after fighting, and his mentor, a magician, kills him, and you die, and the Grim Reaper, Grim as he is in the game, you call him Grim, comes back and says, hey, I'll bring you back to life if you stop this guy, Achilles, who's taking all the souls away from me. So you agree, and you fight through those stages, and it's very hard at first because the combat isn't, you think you just go up to a guy and swipe him, but you got to be more careful. You can't do that, because if they block it, then you're kind of defenseless and they can hit you, and they're very aggressive. They won't wait for you to attack, or they'll just be right on you like flies on poop. Very fun game. Early PlayStation 2 game, around 2002. It was originally developed for the N64, but it was moved over to the PlayStation 2. Developed by a USA Capcom division. It did get a sequel because it sold well. It was a greatest hits version. I haven't played. I really want to play it because I like this one. The sequel's Maximo versus the Army of Zen, which I think they actually fixed some things that people didn't like about the first one. Because in the first one, you had to get coins to save. You had to spend 100 coins to save your game, or you couldn't save your game. And you had limited continues because you got a death coin. He gives you one. Grim gives you one at the beginning. And if you get 50 souls, you get an extra continue coin. But the more you use, the more souls you have, the more coins you have to pay. So at first he wants 1, then he wants 2, then he wants 4. So part of the challenge is kind of balancing that between lives and continues. But the best way I found to do that is keep going back to the first world. It costs you 100 coins to go back to the first world. Play the first level, you can get 3 extra lives in that level, and about 25 or 20 souls, halfway to get an extra continue. By the time you play that level twice, you'll get 6 extra lives and an extra continue. Do that about 4 times, and you'll have, enough lives and continues to go on for a little bit, keep going, and then do the same thing. Makes the game very much more enjoyable that way without having to worry about lives and continues, because the platforming and stuff is challenging enough, and the fighting. I beat the game, and there is some extra challenges. Once you beat a boss, you get a kiss from the sorceress, and if you get the kiss instead of the other rewards, she gives you like an upgrade for armor, an extra continue, an extra life. If you keep those throughout the whole game and you beat it, you unlock like a gallery. That's about it. So it's not worth doing, because if you take a kiss with you, you can't keep as many moves when you die. So that's kind of makes it harder. But yeah, it's extremely fun. And once I beat it, I played through quite further again. I got a lot better at it. I could do the levels. I could do the combat better. It's even better the second time you go through it. I'm really excited to play the second game. Next PlayStation 2 game I played and beat was God Hand. I've had this for a while. I've heard good things about it. I was just kind of intimidated by it, so I never played it, but I wanted to play a beat 'em up after beating Ninja Warriors. I wanted to play another beat 'em up, so I decided to play this one. And this took me quite a while to beat. I had quite a struggle with it, but it was never It was always my fault. I never did get the hand of the controls, and I'm still pretty bad at it. I can handle 1 or 2 guys, but when they throw 8 or so at you, like the last guy, that last part, last stage or next to last stage before the final boss gauntlet, took me about 2 hours or more to beat because they just throw 10 or so guys, 8, 10 guys at you, and they're not the easy cannon fodder guys. These are tough guys that. Um, and there's one guy where you beat, and there's a part in this game where if you beat an enemy, they have a chance of coming back as a demon, and they're extremely tough to beat when they're a demon. And there's one part of this that run where you have to beat one of those demons too, and it's extremely tough to do. But I'm glad I am. When you start the game, you're this guy Gene, you're with this girl Olivia. You don't know much about it. It throws you into this like Wild West town, and there's guys at you, and there you go. Then you gotta fight them. You're like, okay. So you fight them, and you start hitting buttons, and you find out these funny, it's like janky but funny moves that just punch people, and they're like, oh, and you hit them, and you find out you have like this move on your shoulder button, this like wheel that you can use special moves, and you do like a ball buster, where you hit guys in the balls, and then they go, oh, and then you can punch them some more, and it's just so outrageous. I never played anything like it. And as you play more, it took me a while to get past that first stage, and I get to a shop next. I'm like, okay, and then you can buy different moves, and the move list is huge. So, and then you have moves you can assign to here and here. So basically, what the game, from as far as I understand, is you have a square button, and in that square button, you can assign 5 moves. It can be any move from your move list. I found out that I want to put fast moves on those punches to start a combo and then end with a strong one. Your triangle button, you can put any other move. I put like a kick or something that does a launch or something. Your down and triangle will do like a break. And that's important because when you hit guys with your square combos, they will guard. So you need to break that guard. So you want to hit down and triangle and break the guard, then you can go into your combos. So it's a juggle between doing that and then doing break. And then when you get lots of guys around you, the key is you got to pick who you want to go after first, and you want to launch them away when you got lots of people. So you can do a launch move, much like in the final fight, and if you kick somebody, it'll kick like a whole group away. So you want to get into a start with a kick, and you want to do like a launch and just kick people away. You can do a running slide that's launch people away. You can do like a juggle in the air to juggle people in the air and keep them juggle. You can do like a shuriken with it, depending if you hit up or in square or up and triangle or up and square or X, I forget. You can launch people. And it's all about crowd control, which I never got very good at. But I could see how if you're really good at this game, this is something to behold. I was okay. I beat it on normal. The last boss was very tough for me. But it was it was very rewarding to beat this game. You can get it on a PlayStation Store. It's either for you or not. It was fun enough for me to keep going through and just seeing what would happen next, the crazy moves you get, and just, it was insane. I never played a game this insane before. That's what I can say. It's such gibberish and nonsense, and it's kind of janky. They don't put a lot of time into the graphics. It doesn't look particularly well. They concentrate on the fighting and the craziness of it. It's not like you can just move with the analog stick around easily. You move like in 10 controls. It almost controls like a Resident Evil game. Imagine a Resident Evil fighting game with lots of moves mapped to buttons and different combinations. You have a quick turn like in a lot of Resident Evil games where you'll hit the shoulder button, you'll move 180 degrees so you can take care of what's behind you. But you don't have strong control as like in a 3D game. It takes much more crowd management and using your moves effectively. But very deep game too. Next game I beat was Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. I beat Castlevania Curse of Darkness. I beat Castlevania Lament of Innocence last month. I enjoyed that. I thought that the backgrounds, like the areas you were in, were bland and it was just corridors. Same I can say about this is they are still bland, not as bland, because the castle's only one part of this game. You actually go into the castle's the first part. You go outside, you go to like a mountain area, and then you go to a temple. You go to like a town. It's all around the castle, It takes place after Castlevania 3, my favorite Castlevania on the NES, and probably one of my favorite Castlevanias ever. Um, uh, so the story is that after Simon defeats Dracula, uh, you are a devil forge master, Isaac, and your friend, I forget his name, but your friend blames you for Dracula's demise because you gave up your powers or whatever. He kidnaps your beloved, and you blame him for her death, or he doesn't kidnap her. I'm confused, but anyway, you blame him for her death, and you basically go up to him at the beginning. He says, "Hey, you're not strong enough. Get your devil forging powers back, and we'll fight." So you go through the stage, and you forge like familiars, which are demons that fight alongside you. There's ones that attack. There's ones that are defensive. They'll help you defend. There's ones like fairy types. There's devil types. There's like a dragon type one, and they level up with different like abilities, and they can get stronger with you. You level up, gain experience. And what's fun about this game is the soundtrack. Number one is amazing. One of my top 3 Castlevania soundtracks. It's up there with any Castlevania music. I will put this up against. It's fantastic. It's Ichiro Yamane, who did Symphony of the Night, Bloodlines. It's fantastic. Igarashi also did this one. Iga also did this one. It's the second 3D attempt at a Castlevania. It's better than Lament of Innocence. What really makes this game great is the combat. The areas look nice enough, but the meat of the game is combat because you hit like you get different combos depending on your weapon. But it's not like God of War, or I didn't play God of War. It's not like Ninja Gaiden or Bayonetta where you have to memorize all these button combinations. All you have to memorize is the end. So you start every combo with like an XX, and you can end with a YY or YYY or Y, and you'll do different things depending on what weapon. Like maybe the whip will be longer, or maybe the sword will be longer, or the axe will be better. You can do like all kinds of crazy crowd control moves depending on what you pick. It's very fun. And when you beat the game, you unlock Trevor mode, where he doesn't have any familiars. He just has the classic holy water axe, boomerang, knife. Very fun game. You fight Trevor in this, and the music when you fight him, Belmont, legendary Belmont, is great. The main theme is great. It's just a great sounding, great playing game. Very good. I was very impressed to see, and plus this takes place after Castlevania 3, and if you watch the Netflix series, that series is caught up to the end of Castlevania 3, and they're getting into this game now, which is Legacy of Darkness. Or, I'm sorry, guys keep saying Legacy of Darkness, Curse of Darkness. Very good game. Next up, I beat, speaking of, that's why I keep saying Legacy of Darkness, because I beat Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. So this is like a best of Game of the Year edition of Castlevania on the N64 that was released a year earlier. This came out about a year later. It includes that one, The Quest of Carrie and Schneider Reinhardt on the first Castlevania 64 on this one, but it also includes Cornell the Werewolf and Henry, a boy that you save in the hedge maze. And basically this one you start as Cornell, you go through the game, your main protagonist is Ortega, another werewolf, and you go to the castle to rescue your sister who's been kidnapped by Dracula, or Death, and you go through the stage and you fight Dracula, but you lose your powers to him, and you find out it's not the real Dracula, it's just a fake Dracula, and when he absorbs your werewolf powers, he becomes the real Dracula, who Carrie and Schneider Reinhardt from the first Castlevania 64, which is in this one too, have to fight and defeat. So I beat that one. You also save a kid named Henry, who's like a little kid, 10 years old, and 7 years or 8 years later, he comes back as a knight because Carrie and Schneider are fighting Dracula. The kids have been kidnapped, and you have to find kids in the castle as Henry, and he has a gun instead of a whip, which is very, very cool, different Castlevania weapon. He has like a weapon gun you can get. And you have to find 6 kids in 7 days. It's like timed, and once you beat that, then you unlock Carrie and Schneider's quest. And that's the actual first game that was on the first Castlevania 64. So yeah, this has all four of those four of those campaigns on one cartridge. So I beat Cornell's quest and I beat Henry's quest, and I like this game. I don't love it, but I think it's pretty good. The atmosphere of it's very spooky. It's kind of a big world where they don't hold your hand to where to go. There's like sun cards that make it turn into night or day, night, and night cards that make it turn into night. There's a merchant that'll sell you stuff, and there's a little trick with him. If you spend over 30,000 gold, you have to fight him because he wants your soul. And if you don't spend 30,000 gold, you don't fight him. Um, you can control the camera with the control stick, so that helps. You can center it behind you with the R button, so that helps. And I did die a lot at first with the platforming, but like any 3D platformer of that era, it's going to be kind of janky, but nothing enough to keep me from playing it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Castlevania, but it's not that bad. I'd play it again. I do want to beat Carrie and Schneider's quest on the 64 version, and I'll beat that game. So I'm holding off on that. I did start that, but I wanted to start play something different. Right after I beat this, started up that one, but I wanted to play a different game, so I jumped onto a different game. But I do want to play that one and see how, because I hear nothing but bad about that, and I played this one and I liked it, so I don't know how bad that one could be. I'll see when I play it. This one's interesting. I've had this game since 2000. I was about 20 or so, just out of college, and I don't think I ever beat it, and that's Banjo-Tooie. I was right at the end. I was right at Gruntilda's quiz, and I never beat it because I hated the quiz. I hated, and Banjo-Kazooie was like this too. I hated, they had a quiz at the end where you had to answer all these questions, and I don't know why. It's not particularly hard. You could just look online if you get too stuck, but I didn't have the internet then. I didn't have the internet until 2003, so I never really, that always put me off. And so I put that away and I never finished it. I was right at the end too. So some 19 years later, I actually beat it. But the funny thing is, I didn't start it like from scratch this month. The original save I beat it on was not the original game I beat it when I was 20 back in 2000. That was a game I beat, a save that I started back in 2015 when Ukulele was announced, because I wanted to play a 3D platformer, because that got me excited for a 3D platformer. So I started a new game of this back in 2015, and I made it up to about 3/4 of the way through the game, up to Grunty Industries, and that's when I got lost and put it down. Because Grunty Industries is very confusing, and I didn't know where to go. And that's the big gripe I have about this game. It's almost too big. The first Banjo Kazooie I love. I never had it, but I rented it or borrowed it from a friend, and I loved it. I never got it. Frustrated by it. It was always knew where to go. It wasn't too huge. This one's almost too big. I got lost a lot in Grunty Industries. I had to use a guide. I usually feel guilty about using guides, but this time, since I put all the work 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, to get to the last part, I didn't feel as bad. So I used the guide to get past Grunty Industries and Cloud Cuckoo Land, and then finally beat the quiz, beat Gruntilda, who has a multiple phase boss, which is very cool. I like fighting her in that boss, just didn't like the quiz. But yeah, I like the first one better because it's a lot more short, compact, and not as huge. Sometimes less is more, and I feel like the first one nailed it. This one I can see if people like it better, I can see that. But for me, I always enjoy the first one more after beating this one. Almost 20 years in the making, I finally beat this game. Wow. So yeah, that's cool. Banjo-Tooie. Next is Strider 2 for the PlayStation 2, which also comes with Strider 2 discs. One has Strider the arcade game on the second disc, and Strider 2 on the first disc. So this game I beat the first time through because it's really easy. You have unlimited continues, and you can start right where you left off. But that doesn't make it a bad game. I enjoy it. Sometimes I don't want to have too challenging a game. You do get better as you play it. So once I beat it, I played through it again and beat it. I got better each time. The graphics are like, the main character Strider Hero is a polygon, but the graphics, the backgrounds I'm sorry, Strider Hero is pixels art, I think. He looks kind of pixel art, but the backgrounds are kind of polygons. So it's a mixture. It looks really good. It kind of does like a 2.5D kind of into the horizon kind of shift. You can upgrade like different orbs to make your attacks like home in on people and make them stronger until you get hit. You can do that with circle button when you have enough orbs, and you can hit it upgrade to upgrade your weapon strength. There's get better points by finding these hidden objects. So there's lots of hidden secrets around just for points and stuff for a better score. But there's about 7 levels, and there's a hidden prequel level 0 that you can go to as well. That is accessed by playing the original Strider arcade game on here. If you have a save of the original Strider arcade game beat and a save of Strider 2 beat, it'll unlock the stage 0 on Strider 2, which is a prequel stage. It takes place in the jungle. So Strider 2, yeah, looks good, plays good, sounds good. Easy, but that's good. You get better at it each time. The Strider 1 I never played. I played about, well, I shouldn't say never played. I played the Genesis version for about 10 minutes or so, but the one I really played was the one on the NES, more so. I never really knew where to go on that game, but I did like it. It was very janky, I remember, but I thought it was kind of a cool concept. It was like a Metroid exploration game. But I did play and beat Strider Arcade. You have unlimited continues on that. There were some tough parts on there that, like any game, you play more and you get better at. And that game, I remember just the large arc of his, from just playing it this last month, the arc of his sword was insane, and you cut people in half. Looked good, it sounded good too, and I can see just playing that game after Strider 2, I saw a lot of what Strider 2 did a good job of capturing Strider 1. Especially, like, one thing that grabbed me about Strider 1 and 2 was there's these like glowing planet orbs that you jump around and you just spin like faster and you just slash and slash and slash out. It's very satisfying. So yeah, this game is very cool. I highly recommend playing it. It's a non-stressful, easy game, and you can beat them your first time through, but that's okay. Next game I beat was Doom 3 on the Xbox. This is the Collector's Edition. This has the Doom 1, Ultimate Doom, and Doom 2 on it, as long as like some videos interviewing id Software and a G4 behind Doom, like the history of Doom. Doom 3 I beat back on the PC twice or so back in 2004. Funny, my computer at the time, I never had a computer or internet until 2003, and I never bought a pre-built. I wanted to buy a computer, so I'll buy a computer. But then I got into thinking, if I'm going to spend all this money on a computer, I want to research all this stuff. And I got into researching, and I got really into computers and building computers. And my first computer was actually one I built myself. It was an Athlon XP 2500 Barton core. I overclocked a bit. 512 gigs of RAM, which I upgraded for Far Cry and Doom and Half-Life around 2003 and 4 to a gigabyte, and that was a lot. And Radeon 9700 Pro, ATI Radeon 9700 Pro, which is a legendary card in the annals of video game or computer graphics cards history. One of the first DirectX 9 cards that could actually run DirectX games, Doom 3, Half-Life 2, or no, I'm sorry, Doom 3, Far Cry, very well, reasonably well. You're not going to get 60 all the time, but yeah, it'll rate with the effects on, you'll get a playable frame rate. So Doom 3 I beat, and I really liked it, because the only Doom game I beat before this was Doom 64, which I love. Doom 64 is one of my favorite games on the N64. It's almost like, if you don't like Doom 3, play Doom 64. It's like a true sequel to Doom 2. It sounds very spooky. It's very spooky as well as this one. It looks great, runs well, plays great, new special weapons, the graphics. It's one of the few N64 games that really holds up graphically, and the frame rate's really good. Doom 64 is great. Anyway, this isn't about Doom 64, this is Doom 3. Anyway, on my PC, I beat Doom 3 twice or so, and I remember being very scary, very moody, very different than Doom 64. And it's very slower, but you gotta find keys and PDA access cards to open doors, you find out it's told through story beats and cutscenes, and it's a retelling of the first Doom. It's very fun. It's different than the first Doom. It's not as action-packed. It's more plotting, but there are some spooky areas to it where monsters will teleport in behind you. You get in the habit of turning behind you because the door will open and it'll pop out. Very fun, and very, very spooky. This also, I said, it comes with Ultimate Doom and Doom 2, which I never played. I played a little bit of Doom Shareware or Doom 2. I think maybe only Doom 2 on my friend's Windows 95 computer back in high school, and I really liked what I played of Doom 2, but I never went through Doom 1 or Doom 2. So they're on here. I played through Knee Deep in the Dead, the first campaign of Doom, and I got through that, and I'm on the second one, The Shores of Hell or something it's called. So I'm into that now. I haven't played it this week, but it's really fun. I really like it. And I'm looking forward to playing more of that and getting on to Doom 2. So I can finish Doom. Then I can finish Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 2016, which I love, and Doom 3, and be ready for Doom Eternal coming this year, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, that's Doom 3. This is very cheap for the Xbox. It comes with the ports of Doom, and Ultimate Doom and Doom 2 are very good. The graphics look good. It doesn't look like they compromised it. The frame rate's good. Dual stick control is really good. It plays very well with the controller. They're good ports if you want Doom, and it's like $5 to get this edition. I recommend it. The last game I got and beat was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night for Nintendo Switch. I was a Kickstarter backer back in 2015, so it came with this slipcover thingy. I really was addicted to this game. I got it on Tuesday and just beat it last Sunday. About 40 hours, I got 100% map, level 54, I think. Had a joy playing this game. Very addicting. Over 4 play sessions. I put like 40 hours in it. 4 or 5 play sessions. Couldn't get enough of this game. I'm really wanting to play it again. I have the urge to play it again. I'm waiting for a patch, which is what I'll get into right now. Everything about this game is great except for the input lag. The input lag on this version, I don't know about the other versions, I haven't played it, but it's pretty bad. Nothing to ruin the experience, because I still enjoyed it immensely, but during the beginning parts, I was jumping off of a platform and I'd miss and I'd just run off. And I was like, I know how to play platformers, why am I not jumping? It doesn't feel right. And there's a little bit of lag to your jumps, so when you press it, she doesn't jump automatically. And during the last boss fight gauntlet, I would get to a part and it would slow down and lag. My inputs would lag, I should say, and it wouldn't do exactly what I wanted, and that was frustrating. And I got some crashes on it, which I lost some progress on. And I got about 4 crashes during my playthrough, which is kind of disappointing. I love this game. Love this game, but it takes a little bit away of my experience when I get crashes and lag like that. I wish I would have gladly held out another year to play this game fully finished with patches already included on the cartridge, so it would be a full experience right now when I get it. Because as it is now, this game is not finished. Sure, everything's in there, you can finish it, but there's some bugs in it. I get parts where money bags I couldn't collect, they could just get stuck in the environment. Crashes, like I said, and input lag. The graphics are fine. I mean, I've never been a huge graphic person. If it's fun, I was expecting less on the Switch, and that's fine. It looks fine. But the input lag and the crashes are what kills it for me. But I still had an immense, great fun time with this game. I just wish, I think Kickstarter can be good, but sometimes I think they bite off a little more than they can chew. And they rush things out. They were probably saying, hey, we got to get this out. We'll patch it later. And I hate that mentality. Because as it is, why did I get this physically if the game's incomplete? Because they're going to release a patch for it later, because I got the game and I had to download a day 1 patch of almost 2 gigabytes. So that's almost as big as the game itself, and they're going to have another patch coming this mid-July, which they promise they're going to make the Switch version better. They're going to fix the lag, fix the crashes, and fix some frame rate problems. Which frame rate, as long as it's around 30, that's fine. But they're going to fix all that. Had they fixed that, held it back, and fixed it prior, I would have gave this game my glowing recommendation. But as I can say now, I'd wait until this is fixed, or you can wait until the Xbox, or I don't know how those are, the Xbox or PS4 version or PC version, if they're better, play those, because this is a point where I don't know if I'll support Kickstarters anymore because I'll just wait until they're fully fixed and then buy them later. Because I've been burned. I wouldn't say I'm burned by this game, but it would have done me well to wait. Because I would have had a better, even though I had a great experience, I would have had a better experience playing this game a few months later when it's fully patched and finished. Because all I have now is a beta build waiting for another patch, which the first patch is 2 gigabytes, the next patch it'll be a gigabyte or more. It's almost as much big as the game is itself with patches, which I hate. They were probably under time and they had to get a game out, but I just hate this mentality of patching later. I would have waited a year or more just to get this game finished, the quality that it is, and touch it up and finish it. One thing I like about Nintendo, they will take the time to fix something until it's absolutely not flawless, but you don't run into crashes or bugs or input lag, which I think input lag is just unacceptable. Like, when you're playing this game, you can feel it. Any playtester is going to feel this lag. Like I said, I still played through the game and liked it, but the lag was just, I could feel it. It caused me to fall off platforms and have to go back again. It did cause me to die once or twice because of it. I just don't know how you can miss that in play control, play testing. Yeah, Bloodstained, still a good game, even after all that, and wait for it to be actually fixed and done before you buy it. And that's everything I beat for the month of June. Quite a few good games. I was very happy to beat 2 PS2 games. Like I said, I never beat a lot of PS2 games. I do want to play, I think the next one I'll beat, I had my eye on Contra Shattered Soldier. I played that a little bit from the beginning, and it's another game of memorization, and after beating Hardcore, I don't know if I want to jump right in that one. So I started Super Adventure Island 2 on the Super Nintendo, really enjoying that. That's different than the Adventure Island games I played. Adventure Island 1 and 2 and Super on the Super Nintendo. It's more of a Metroid exploration game like Bloodstained, but not as deep with Zelda 2 good properties. It's very weird and fun. I'm enjoying that immensely. I'll talk about that next month if I beat it. So that's everything I beat. Have a great July, great summer. Enjoy, and I will see you next month with what I beat.